Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. President Trump, the first 100 days. And tonight, the other countdown. Just days now until a possible government shutdown. The high-stakes showdown should American taxpayers pay to build the wall on the Mexican border, at least at first. The president wants it in the budget. Also tonight, the people speak. How do they grade President Trump on the first 100 days? Our trip across the country. What voters told me. From some, unwavering support. For others, the frustration mounting. The showdown with North Korea takes a new and troubling turn. North Korea detaining an American citizen and threatening to sink the USS Carl Vinson. The massive flooding in the east tonight, the system then moving up the east coast. D.C., Philadelphia, New York City hit next. Rob Marciano standing by. And the uproar on board. First it was United, now American Airlines, the flight attendant and the family with a stroller.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Monday night, and we begin with what could be the most important week of Donald Trump's presidency so far. He is now approaching 100 days, but there is also that other countdown tonight, the government running out of money on Saturday, his 100th day. He wants the wall on the Mexican border in the budget. American taxpayers, he says, would foot the bill at first. Mexico would pay later. Some Democrats tonight say it's a non-starter. And our new ABC News Washington Post poll finds President Trump with a 42% approval rating. That's the lowest of any president since 1945. But a very telling number tonight. Of those who voted for him, 96% say they would absolutely vote for him again. ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl leading us off.
Forget the 100 days milestone. The top agenda item in Washington this week may be keeping the government from shutting down. Funding runs out midnight Friday, and right now the two sides are locked in disagreement over whether the next spending bill will include money to start work on President Trump's border wall.
How confident are you that there will not be a shutdown? Can you, from that podium, guarantee that there will not be a government shutdown?
I can't guarantee.
How close can you get to guarantee?
But they feel very confident that won't happen.
So he won't insist that his priorities get funded on the border, the wall, increased security?
That's not what I said.
Democrats are saying there's no way they'll agree to money for the wall. The White House says it's the president's top priority, although during the campaign, he offered a different idea on how to pay for it.
And who's going to pay for the wall? Who's going to pay for the wall? Who's going to pay for the wall? I've never done that before. That's actually cute.
Shortly after taking office, the president told David Muir that at first, taxpayers would likely foot the bill and then get paid back.
Are you going to direct U.S. funds to pay for this wall? Will American taxpayers pay for the wall?
We're going to be starting those negotiations relatively soon, and we will be in a form reimbursed by Mexico, which I've always said.
So they'll pay us back?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
As for the 100 days marker,
in my first 100 days.
In our first 100 days.
Just think about what we can accomplish in the first 100 days.
The president has certainly shaken up Washington, signing more than 24 executive orders. He's on pace to sign more in 100 days than any president since FDR. But during the campaign, he promised action on 10 different pieces of legislation in his first 100 days. But he's only moved forward with one of those bills so far, the plan to repeal and replace Obamacare, and that, of course, still hasn't passed.
Right now, he's 0 for 10. Only one of those has actually been introduced.
Right. And I think that we're going to continue to work with Congress. As he says in that document, I will work with Congress to achieve these, and we are going to continue to work with Congress to achieve those.
But why have 9 of them not even been introduced yet?
I think when you look at what he has done in terms of Supreme Court justice, the executive orders, the number of legislation, there's a lot that has gotten done.
There'll still be a scramble this week to get things done before day 100, including talks on reviving the health care plan, and the White House promises a new tax plan will be released Wednesday. In an interview with the AP, the president acknowledged that succeeding in government is more complicated than business. Everything, pretty much everything you do in government involves heart, he said, whereas in business, most things don't involve heart. In fact, in business, you're actually better off without it.
So let's get to Jonathan Carley, joined us live from the White House tonight. And John, as you know, national security also playing a big role in the first 100 days. The strike in Syria, the bomb in Afghanistan, and now we're learning all 100 U.S. senators have been invited to the White House for a briefing by the president on North Korea.
They'll be briefed by the president's national security team, including the secretaries of state and defense, the director of national intelligence, and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. David, it is not unusual to have a briefing like this, but what is highly unusual is for it to happen here at the White House.
And you'll be watching all week long. John Carl leading us off tonight. John, thank you. And you heard one of the key sticking points to the budget, as John reported, funding the wall on the Mexican border. This question tonight: should American taxpayers foot the bill at first after promises during the campaign that Mexico would pay for it? ABC's Mary Bruce putting that question to lawmakers on Capitol Hill tonight.
Returning to Capitol Hill tonight, lawmakers stepping into a standoff over the president's border wall. Any concern that including
we'll work through it.
The president wants the American taxpayer to fund it, at least at first.
I'm going to support the president. He's in a tough position.
But that push could be pushing the government to the brink of a shutdown.
What's your message to Democrats who say that any attempt to include funding for the wall is a complete non-starter for them?
There's some things that they want, and that's kind of horse trading. So if you draw a line in the sand, the people who usually do that wind up getting more blame than others who don't.
But the Democrats' message to the president: back off.
If the president wouldn't throw this monkey wrench called the border wall into it, we'd come to an agreement by Friday and the government would be funded.
Now, the president insists Mexico will still pay for this wall, that this is just a down payment. You're shaking your head.
Show me. Let's hear the plan.
All right, so both sides digging in tonight. Mary Bruce with us live from Capitol Hill, and as we heard, a lot of debate there over whether taxpayers will pay for the wall, at least at first. How does Congress resolve this?
David, the one thing both sides agree on: no one wants to see a government shutdown. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that a deal will be reached this week. It's likely they'll pass a short-term extension to buy them some more time to negotiate. David.
Mary Bruce live on Capitol Hill. Mary, thank you. North Korea upping the ante with the United States with a new and troubling move tonight, taking an American teacher into custody as he was about to return home, and the new threat to sink that U.S. carrier group soon to arrive off its shores. President Trump in a new round of phone calls with China and Japan, and a rare meeting with the UN Security Council at the White House, underscoring the urgency tonight. ABC's Bob Woodruff in South Korea.
Tonight, American Tony Kim remains in custody. The 58-year-old professor arrested in North Korea while trying to leave the country. He has yet to be charged with a crime. He is one of 3 Americans being held.
Please save my life.
The other 2 serving lengthy prison sentences. Tensions between the United States and the regime is reaching new highs. A message delivered by state-run media warning the aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson could be sunk with a single strike. The Vinson now heading to the Korean Peninsula.
Welcome to the White House.
Today, President Trump is hosting a rare meeting with the United Nations Security Council, pressuring them to act.
People have put blindfolds on for decades, and now it's time to solve the problem.
Mr. Trump also spoke by phone with China's president, and the two reaffirmed the urgency of the North Korean threat. Trump also accepted President Xi's invitation to China later this year. David?
Bob Woodruff, our thanks to you, Bob. And President Trump now approaching the 100-day mark. Tonight here, the people speak. We were out all over America this weekend. I heard optimism. I heard staunch support. I also heard anger and frustration. So tonight here, our trip to Pennsylvania, to Michigan, to Wisconsin, where you'll remember just 77,000 votes across those 3 states decided the election. What grade do they give President Trump? And we want to know tonight, do you agree with any of the voters you're about to hear from? The first 100 days, we head to Monroe County, Pennsylvania, where about 500 votes separated Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Frank Rogaman, a Vietnam vet, voted Trump. We're nearly 100 days into the administration.
Okay.
What are your thoughts so far?
A little disappointed.
How so?
Well, he couldn't get the health care bill through, and he's having all kind of problems with the Democrats, so it's a little disappointing. I don't blame him, but...
Who do you blame?
Democrats.
Down Route 209, a nursery, where inside they still say the election is off limits. Debbie Strangio, a Navy vet, works at the nursery. First 100 days. What's your report card?
F, and if I could give them a lower grade, I would. And why? What stands out?
The showdown with North Korea.
Concerns you?
Yeah, because that also concerns China. And he's never made it a secret that he would do nuclear bombs, and that scares me. I personally think by the time he's done, we're going to be in World War III.
Up the road, Sophie's Diner, where outside we find Rich Buddha, a retired construction worker, a Marine.
The report card, what would you give him?
A+.
Yeah, and why so?
He's been doing what he said he's going to do. Hillary's biggest problem was all she did was beat him up. She never said what she's going to do. He told us what he's going to do, and he's doing it.
On Main Street in Stroudsburg, inside this barbershop, Zach Sterniolo, a local sports writer.
If I had to grade him, I'd say about a C. I voted for Hillary. The one thing I really did approve of was him taking action with Syria. I thought that was an important step.
We traveled to Saginaw County, Michigan. The difference there, just 1% between Trump and Clinton. Inside Fuzzy's ice cream shop, Marianne Bird, a teacher who also works the register.
What grade?
Probably about a B-.
Yeah? Why?
I think he can't do everything on his own, and I think that's the message that's kind of getting lost. People want people in Washington, D.C. to work together, and they're not. And I think the stonewalling isn't helping somebody like me. It might help people on East Coast and West Coast, but it's not helping people in the middle. And I think it's the people in the middle that voted Trump in.
Good to see you. If you had to give a grade, what would it be?
I think I would give him a B+.
B+.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Just that twittering.
The Twitter.
Yeah.
The tweets bother you?
Well, I don't really read them, so, but I know that when somebody gets under his skin, he starts twittering. And I think he should grow up.
Did anyone at this table vote for Hillary Clinton? No.
My mother did.
Your mother did.
My mother did.
We find Vicki Lawson in her front yard. She doesn't even like talking politics anymore. For her, it has taken a long time to get over the election.
How long was it?
Oh, happened to be my phone.
Saved by her phone for a moment.
The sun's out today.
It's gorgeous today.
Yeah. You didn't feel this way right after the election. How long did it take before you got to a place where you were more hopeful?
I'd say a few months. Probably a couple of months, maybe.
Which is a long time.
It is a long time.
Poitier Price, a Marine, and Ternika McClendon out shopping for a car.
Cars on a Saturday, huh?
Yes, we are.
Are you going to get it?
Possibly.
A different answer. A different answer.
But they gave the same answer on President Trump.
If you had to give President Trump a grade, what would it be?
4. Probably a D-.
A D-. What frustrates you the most?
The draining the swamp part really frustrates me. I mean, you talk about draining the swamp, and you can just look at this guy cabinet and tell that, he loves the swamp. He loves it. I mean, he has a bunch of billionaires there.
And in Sauk County, Wisconsin, Donald Trump won here by 109 votes. Marlene Buchanan, a grandmother, says she worries about her disabled grandson and her country.
The tension after the election on my part has not eased at all. I am very uncomfortable with Donald Trump.
Compared to the Obama administration, I think he's just willing to make harsher decisions and do things that, the Obama administration was afraid to do.
A lot of opinions on both sides, and we want to know what you think tonight. Want to make sure all voters are heard here. Tweet me, what's your grade for President Trump? And we'll continue to be out there across the country. In the meantime, overseas tonight and from France this evening, shockwaves after the first round of the presidential election there. The major parties completely shut out now. The runoff now between two upstarts. A far-right nationalist opposed to the European Union, to NATO, and wants to pull out of the euro, putting the fight against radical Islam at the top of her agenda, using similar language to President Trump. And a moderate centrist who's never held office before, just 39 years old, and with an inclusive message. That runoff vote in 2 weeks. Next tonight here, a stormy week ahead for much of the country. The flood threat already closing dozens of schools in Tennessee, and that system moving up the East Coast to Washington, New York, and Boston next. A teen rescued near Nashville clinging to a pole after riding his bicycle into the rushing waters. A downed tree splitting this Knoxville home in half with several people inside. And the streets of Charleston tonight turned to rivers. That storm, as I mentioned, headed northward. And let's turn to meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it for us. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. That Carolina storm is impressive. It's heading this way, already having dumped a half a foot of rain in spots. The flood watch is still up because it's still coming down, especially in North Carolina. A bit of a tropical moisture feed there. It spins up the coast tomorrow by 7 a.m. It's in D.C., then Baltimore, then Philly. By 7 p.m. it's in New York City, really coming down, increasing into New England through the overnight. We do have a severe weather threat tomorrow, but really more so on Wednesday from Shreveport to Little Rock into the Mid-South, and an even larger system with potential tornadoes as we get closer to the weekend. David?
Rob Marciano will be tracking it for us. Thank you, Rob. And there's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Monday. The chaos in the cabin. First it was United, now American Airlines, and the fight with the family over the stroller. You'll see it in a moment. We're following that deadly shooting inside an office building today. Employees evacuated, and what we're learning now about the gunman. The 5-alarm fire, the apartment complex up in flames, the nearby college forced to close. And we're monitoring that new headline tonight about Elton John. News coming in on his condition. A lot more after the break.
As soon as I left the hospital after a DVT blood clot, I sure had a lot to think about. What about the people I care about, including this little girl? And what if this happened to